This review for Thunderball has spoilers. Alright, week 4 for the James Bond movie marathon saw the 4th movie in the franchise, which is Thunderball. My rating for Thunderball is a 3.5 out of 5, and here's why. The 4th movie in the James Bond franchise, Thunderball, debuted back in 1965. It is directed by Terrence Young. Once again, Sean Connery reprises his role as James Bond, 007. Domino, the Bond girl, is played by Claudine Auger. And the villain in this movie, Emilio, who is number 2 in the line of Spectre, is played by Adolfo Colli. After Goldfinger, once you watch Thunderball, you can see them once again step up in the direction of the action as well as the extravagance of the James Bond story. In Thunderball, it starts out with James Bond investigating a person of interest who is connected to Spectre. There are a lot of memorable scenes in this movie, but I could only get into a few. Anyways, in the prologue, James Bond was investigating a person of interest where that person of interest died and he was at the funeral. He sees his wife, but it's not his wife, it is him dressed up as his wife. Anyways, we only get to see the usage of the Aston Martin in a few scenes compared to what we saw in Goldfinger. At the end of the prologue, he escapes by a jetpack. A couple of thugs were coming at them, shooting at the car, and then James Bond puts up this kind of shield for the car in the back. And then it leads into the intro credit sequence, where it features the title song sung by Tom Jones, and a very unique, and it foreshadows what's going to go on in the film, with the silhouettes of these ladies and men swimming underwater. And I believe it is here that that whole silhouette idea kind of translate into the coming intro credit sequence down the line. But I have to say, Thunderball is a very memorable theme. In the main story of Thunderball, we find out that Spectre has stolen 2 atomic bombs. Spectre announces that they're going to hold England and the US for ransom. If they don't pay them what they desire, they are going to bomb a certain big city somewhere around the world. In Thunderball, we get a look at the whole order of 00 agents, as they were all assigned to go into different parts of the world to investigate Spectre, to see where these bombs are located. But coincidentally, 007 would have the heads up, as by being at this rehabilitation center, he runs into one of these pilots that was supposed to be flying these atomic bombs to a certain destination for NATO. With that connection, it leads James Bond flying to the Bahamas to investigate by talking to his sister, Domino. With that, it leads James Bond right into the front door, literally, of Emilio Largo, the number 2 member of Spectre. This whole entire mission is codenamed Thunderball. That's where the title is related to the story. The rest of the story would unfold in the Bahamas. There were a lot of jokes and quips by James Bond, and then we get to see the scene with Q. We get more of an understanding of the dynamic between James Bond and Q, and we get to laugh at their banter back and forth as James Bond fiddles with all the new technology Q has to offer for Bond. The biggest thing to have been done in cinema was really neat, with an underwater war in the end of the movie. It was the Coast Guard versus Emilio Largo's thugs battling it out underwater. Harpoons, knives, cutting of the air tubes. I bet for its time it was really unique. And then the whole concept of Emilio's yacht called the Disco Volante, where it was able to separate into a faster boat per se. The final battle scene is worth the watch. It's very unique. The movie Thunderball in itself, I have to say, inspired Jackie Chan's Police Story 4 First Strike, or as it's known here in the US as Jackie Chan's First Strike. I'm a big Jackie Chan fan, and there's a lot of influence that Jackie Chan used from the movie Thunderball, especially with fighting underwater. Overall, the movie is a big spectacle. Again, like I said, they really stepped up the action with this James Bond movie. Although the beginning left some convoluted parts, with the story being a coincidence that James Bond came across this body, which helped lead to the investigation into the Bahamas. The acting was great from all the characters except the Bond girl Domino. I found issue with some of the scenes she acted in. Again, the action scenes look dated, especially with the speeding boat scene. I try to review these movies as if I'm in that era, but I can't help but notice all the fabrication it took to make the speeding boat look fast and whatnot, having it being a projector screen. In my opinion, Thunderball is not one of my favorite Sean Connery James Bond films, but a lot of the clips and some of the action is very memorable. That is my review of Thunderball. For week 5, it is the continuation of the Spectre story with You Only Live Twice. Make sure to subscribe to the SpellGo YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching, guys.